system.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is
Howard J. Dingers. And this is 3 Count Review.
welcome everyone to Smackdown Live.
Smackdown Live Edition. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 3 Count Smackdown Review presented by First Round KO. And we just got done with a great episode of Smackdown Live. I enjoy Smackdown every week, so this should come to no surprise, unlike Raw. Raw has to impress me for me to like it because it's 3 hours long. But SmackDown is usually, it's 2 hours, so it's usually timed out pretty well. They usually balance everything very well. And you don't have to stick everyone out there every week. Sometimes you don't put Rey and Andrade out there. Sometimes you hold back on Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, that type of thing. So I like it. The only complaint that I do have right off the bat is no Asuka again. They've played a video package for her tonight, but that's it. That's all we had. And you had a lot of momentum coming for Asuka after tapping out Becky right at, tapping her out clean in the middle of the ring at the Royal Rumble to open the Royal Rumble. But it seems like all the focus has been on Becky after that, and there has been nothing done for Asuka. And I think that's going to be a little damaging for Asuka. Obviously, she'll come back and she'll be fine. But I think they had some real momentum going. If they would have capitalized on that right away last week, have her come out at some point and just say, hey, I just tapped out the man. So that's my only complaint right now is no Asuka for 2 weeks. But other than that, these shows have been really good. So let's jump into this review. Charlotte Flair came down to the ring to start SmackDown Live. Flair discussed Becky Lynch's confrontation with Stephanie McMahon and her suspension from last night. Flair said she hopes Lynch gets medical attention for now. Flair pointed out that she is healthy and she wants to take Lynch's spot at WrestleMania. Flair pointed at the WrestleMania sign, but Becky Lynch started coming out through the crowd. This was awesome. Security and officials ran out to ringside to try to stop her and everything. And then Charlotte had a really good line where she said, "You already stole my dad's name, and now you're stealing Roman Reigns' entrance." It didn't get that big of a reaction, but I enjoyed it. And Becky then jumped into the ring and started arguing with Charlotte. They just basically were shouting things at each other. Triple H's music hit. Behold the king. I love that stuff. Triple H came down. He told Lynch to get medical attention and the suspension would be lifted. He told Flair this doesn't concern her and made her leave. I thought that was a little strange because that was the last we saw of Charlotte. Charlotte just kind of walked away. So I don't know. Lynch noted she doesn't trust Triple H and management. He told her to see the doctor and get cleared, but until then, she needs to go home because she's suspended. He went to leave, but Lynch asked about Stephanie McMahon, asked if McMahon got cleared after Lynch punched her out last night on Raw. Great stuff by Lynch. Triple H came back in the ring and he said, "I see the truth now." He said Lynch is just looking for a way out of the match. She just wants to be a martyr. He noted she got the match with Ronda at Survivor Series, but she showed up on Raw knowing she'd get hurt. Now she's just trying to find a way out of this match. Like I said yesterday, they're telling the same story as Survivor Series, except this time it's a fake injury. Called that one. Triple H said she's afraid to go to the doctor because of what they'll say. He questioned if her knee is really hurt. He believes she's too scared to go to the doctor because he will clear her. He said Rousey's going to expose Lynch for the fraud she is, and she's going to show the whole world on the biggest stage that Lynch fears Rousey. Lynch had heard enough and slapped him across the face. They went face-to-face, and the crowd chanted one more time. It was awesome. They were face-to-face for quite a long time. Lynch just smirked, left, and that was it. She walked back through the crowd. Awesome. Becky Lynch is amazing. Moving on. If you want to hear my opinions on the Becky Lynch Ronda Rousey match, go listen to about the first 5 minutes from the Raw review yesterday, where I broke it down. And yeah, I won't go through it again, but I love Becky Lynch and she's amazing. So then we had Shinsegae Nakamura and Rusev taking on Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, the Good Brothers. Yeah. It says on commentary, Tom Phillips noted that R-Truth is at home recovering from his attack last week. Actually, I believe he's recovering from the attack on Nia Jax, because the report is that Nia Jax legitimately injured R-Truth. So that's cool. Nia Jax needs to go back to the Performance Center. She needs to go back to developmental. Gallows knocked over Rusev. I won't go through the whole bit of this match. It was a good match. I love the Good Brothers. I love Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. They're so good, especially Carl Anderson. He is one of the most underrated talent on the roster. Liv Morgan is up there too. But Carl Anderson is just incredibly good. He's probably one of the best wrestlers on that show in the company right now. And he's just not getting used, and it's very sad. He needs to go to. I think they should try to leave for AEW if they get the chance. And Rusev and Nakamura, they're both heels and they don't like each other, so there was a lot of conflict during the match where Rusev tagged himself in at one point, and so then during the end of the match, Lana was telling Shinsuke to get up, a lot like Rusev was telling her to get up at the Rumble pre-show, and Glanderson went for the Magic Killer, but Nakamura came in and broke it up, hit Luke Gallows with a Kinshasa, but Anderson nailed Nakamura with a running boot, like what, basically a Claymore. He basically just does his Claymore. I believe it used to be called the machine gun. Well, no, he was the machine gun. What was it? I don't remember what his I think rocket kick or something like that. It used to be called something cool. But then the finish came when Nakamura hit the Machka kick on Anderson for the 1-2-3. Nakamura and Rusev win. Yeah, and then they celebrated in the ring. Like, barely. They were both skeptical of each other. I don't know. They kept saying that this was a one-time thing for Nakamura and Rusev. I don't necessarily believe that. I think they're going to drag this out. But who knows, I guess. I'm not a big fan of it. But I will give them the benefit of the doubt. I hope that they tell a story with this. So, prove me wrong, WWE. In the back, Mustafa Ali discussed his upcoming match with Randy Orton, and he talked about the chances of him winning the title at Elimination Chamber and defeating Orton tonight. He basically just said, yeah, I can do all this. I can beat Randy, and I can win at the Chamber. Like, what if it happens? Okay, cool. Thanks. Mustafa was good here. Backstage, the Usos discussed their match against SmackDown Tag Team Champions Shane and Miz. They promised to defeat them at the Chamber, and next week the Usos will appear on the first the first edition of the McMiz TV, hosted by Shane and Miz. McMiz TV. Wow. That's amazing. And I can't wait for that segment, actually. That's going to be good. Because we all know how good The Miz is on the mic. The Usos are fantastic. And Shane will be there, too. He's not great on the mic. He's just the best wrestler in the world. So then we had Randy Orton versus Mustafa Ali. This was actually... Okay, so this was a longer match than I thought it was going to be. And longer than what I would have cared for. But it was actually very good. Orton was still kind of his slow self. I don't think he was too into the match, but Mustafa was giving it his all, and Mustafa made it really good. There was a lot of high spots. Orton hit Mustafa with a superplex, and then trying to think of some other high spot. There was a lot. It was a long match. I don't remember a lot of what happened, but he hit the rolling X Factor, which I'm not a fan of that move. It doesn't look that great. It doesn't look big enough to be a big move, especially for that. But anyway, so Ali did one of those double jumps in the corner onto the top rope or to the middle rope, and he faked the jump, and Orton went for the RKO. But then obviously Ali didn't jump. So Randy was like, haha, nice. But then Ali jumped anyway, hit a tornado DDT for another near fall. And then Ali went up to the top rope for the 054, but Orton yanks his bottom foot out, and Ali jumps backwards, so he's flying stomach down, and Randy hits him with an RKO off of that for the win. That was an incredible spot, and I expect nothing less from Mustafa and Randy. So then after the match, Samoa Joe attacked Orton, locked in the Coquina Clutch. He choked out Orton and attacked Ali. As Joe was leaving, Daniel Bryan walked out. Joe started walking towards him and tried to size him up, but then Rowan appeared and Joe backed off. I like that little tease. It's like, hey, I'm not scared of you, Bryan. I can choke you out. Oh, there's Rowan. I'm slowly back away from this. But remember that, because this will come into play later in the night. Backstage, Joe noted that Orton learned for every action there's a reaction. Yes. He promised to win the title at Chamber. I would not mind if Joe won at all. Joe deserves a title, but I would like to see it at Mania, but whatever. In the ring, Daniel Bryan was introduced as the favorite son of Washington. The fans broke into a Daniel Bryan chant, and he said he finally gets to talk to people that understand what he's trying to do here. Bryan played this perfectly. So he still cut his normal promo about how you people are stupid, you guys are hurting the planet. But because they were in Washington, and Washington is a very... the state of Washington basically agrees with Daniel Bryan, and they were cheering him. The crowd was cheering Daniel. They were agreeing with everything he was saying. So Daniel handled this perfectly. He said, yeah, you guys agree with me. You guys are awesome. I'm glad I finally get to talk to people like you. But because of the position I'm in, because of the championship that I hold, I have to talk to a global audience, and they don't understand anything. So I'm going to continue to talk to them. It was beautiful. So then he got to cut the same promo. Fantastic job. Daniel Bryan's amazing. Let's see. He said the people of Washington are intelligent and smart people. They know they need change. So, yeah, I mean, Rowan talked a little bit. He said that they're compared to, I think it was Galileo, and that they're so smart that they're feared by other people because they're so intelligent, but they still have good intentions. So he doesn't know why they're feared, type of thing. It was pretty good. I don't mind Rowan on the mic. He's just no Daniel Bryan. Yeah, and that was about it. He said the WWE and the planet need Bryan as the champion. And yeah, Bryan was fantastic here. I loved it. But that was it, and then he left. In the back, Kayla Braxton interviewed Jeff Hardy. Hardy was disgusted that Bryan threw the belt in the trash last week. Crap, that was only last week. Instead of debating Bryan, Hardy is going to deal with him in the ring tonight because they have a scheduled match. That's why Kayla was like, why didn't you run out there and stop him or argue with him out there? AJ Styles then approached Hardy and wondered if Hardy is the right person to represent the WWE's legacy. Hardy noted Styles couldn't beat the new Daniel Bryan for the championship, and Hardy promised to defeat Bryan tonight and deal with Styles in the Chamber. Smackdown did such a good job with their main event scene tonight. They interwove all 6 of the Chamber, of the Elimination Chamber men. They interwove them all into different, I mean, the same storyline, but like different storylines, almost. But it was all the same one, and they just planted seeds all night, and then eventually towards the end of the night, it all came together. It was just fantastic. It was a very good overarching story all around on SmackDown. So then we had a triple threat women's tag team match. Before the match, Naomi and Carmella were announced as the third team from SmackDown to be in the Elimination Chamber women's tag team match to crown the first women's tag team champions. And yeah, why does SmackDown not have to earn their spots? I'm guessing it's because they don't have enough teams, but all 3 of these SmackDown teams were just like, yeah, we're going to be in the match. but the Raw teams all had to win matches to get in. I think that's poor storytelling, and they could have done something better. Bring up an NXT team for a night, even if they lose. Why? I don't know. It's stupid. But anyway, it was a decent match. Oh, it was Mandy Rose and Sonya versus Naomi and Carmella versus the Iconics. Sorry. I just really like them. Decent match. It came the story of the match basically was Naomi and Mandy Rose. Rose accidentally got tagged in. Naomi threw her into the ring. Naomi then pulled her by the hair into the ring. And the finish came because Naomi was focused on I think it was Peyton. Yeah, Peyton came in and tried to break everything up. Peyton got hit with a rear view, but then when Naomi turned around, Mandy Rose hit her with what I can only describe as Ciampa's finisher, the fairy tale ending. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's a chicken wing face buster, probably. That'd be my educated guess. It's a great move. I love it, and it's an awesome show of strength for Mandy, so props to her. But yeah, Mandy pinned Naomi to win that match. In the back, we had Zelina Vega and Andrade discussing the folklore of Rey Mysterio. Vega said the legend of Andrade starts with Mysterio's end. Very good stuff. I'm very excited for the rest of that feud. So then we had the main event of the night, Jeff Hardy versus Daniel Bryan. It was a non-title match, and this was every bit as good as you would think it was. It was slow because Bryan was working a lot of body parts, as he does as the submission specialist. It was just fantastic. He was grounding Hardy because if Hardy's a high flyer, so if he gets going, it's in his favor. This was just fantastic. Bryan did really well. I think Jeff obviously isn't what he used to be, but he can still go in that ring, and he's going to be very fun to watch a week from Sunday in the chamber match. So towards the end of the match, Bryan was hitting some yes kicks, but then Hardy out of nowhere hit the twist of fate. He went for the Swanton Bomb, hit the Swanton Bomb, and went for the pin. 1, 2, but then Rowan pulled him out of the ring. Disqualification. Now, if anyone remembers my rant from Raw yesterday, the rules do not matter. It is like a game of whose line is it anyway. The rules are made up and they don't matter. Yesterday on Raw, Bobby Lashley pulls Finn Balor out of the ring. He doesn't get disqualified. He just gets thrown out. And then later in the night, Braun Strowman, who wasn't the legal man, attacked Baron Corbin, who was the legal man in a tag match, but he got disqualified. What? And now tonight, it was a disqualification because Rowan pulled him out of the ring. This company... The rules are made up and the points don't matter. That's all I have to say. But so basically Rowan threw Jeff into the steps, and then he threw him back in the ring. Bryan was up at this point. He locked in the little bell lock. So then all of a sudden Samoa Joe comes out of nowhere, pushes Rowan into the steps, runs into the ring, coquina clutch on Daniel Bryan. Awesome. Randy Orton comes out basically to make the save, but he just wanted to attack Samoa Joe. And they brawled for a while. Mustafa Ali ran out, hit a double drop kick on Joe and Orton. That was awesome. Ali hit a dive on Rowan. Oh, no, he hit a dive on Joe first and then a dive on Rowan, but Rowan caught him and slammed him under the announce table. It was a choke slam, but instead of grabbing him by the throat, Rowan grabbed Mustafa by the face and did a choke slam. It was so cool. I loved it. And then AJ Styles came out and went after everyone, which is interesting because the reports are saying that he had a hernia and that he was hurt, but that must have been last week. He must have been healed because he was out here doing most of the stuff. He had an enziguri, so he seems okay. He had a phenomenal forearm too, I should say, actually. So he must be okay. That's how I'm going to take that. He hit the phenomenal forearm on Hardy, and Bryan ran off to avoid confrontation with AJ. And that's how the show went off. Oh, actually, before the show went off air, I forgot. Kayla Braxton tried to interview Bryan right in gorilla position as he was leaving the stage area, and he was outraged that she would try to interview him right after his match. He noted Rowan's not his bodyguard, but he is his friend. He's going to be the WWE champion forever because that's what the planet needs. awesome. Again, Daniel Bryan is amazing. And Daniel Bryan is, I hope he's champion. Maybe not forever, but I hope he's champion for a very long time. Because what normally happens, which, I mean, it's not a for sure thing, but how do I phrase this? An easy way to do WrestleMania is to have two great World Heavyweight Championship matches, obviously the WWE and the Universal match, and you change one belt and you have the other retain. That's just the easy way to do it. So I think Brock should drop to Seth, and Daniel should retain against whoever he ends up facing, and Daniel should continue this until SummerSlam. Honestly, maybe he could drop it to Cena at SummerSlam or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think that would actually be really good storytelling. Anyway, I love this episode. It wasn't very newsworthy with anything other than Naomi and Carmella getting added to the match. Nothing, again, no Asuka, like I said earlier. Who knows what they're doing with Shinsegae and Rusev. I'm interested to see where this Becky Lynch angle goes. But I recommend going and watching that opening segment, as Becky and Triple H were amazing. Charlotte was pretty good, I guess. Mustafa and Randy was good, but nothing huge. But again, SmackDown entertains me every week. It was a good show. I'd probably give it a 3 out of 5. Nothing special, but still a good show. Better than most Raws, in my opinion. So, yeah, that's all I have time for. Next week, these shows will continue to be live on 91.7 The Edge in Whitewater. I don't know if the streaming is up for that. I'll update you guys next week on that if I need to. But they will continue to go up on YouTube as quickly as I physically can put them up. So, with that said, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next week for the 3-count Raw review.
She a California living, cognac sipping, choke blowing, candy flipping, sunshine vibe. Flew out for the show, had to pull her out the road. Now she hoping I could change her life, but I think we need to slow it down, slow it